guys, and welcome back here to another tutorial of the Dev Realm. And today we're going to be placing actors in sockets. Just to give a recap, in the previous episode we did this thing where we now placing the objects and we can rotate them, and we can also set up those new colors here, which is really cool. So in today we're going to be creating some kind of a socket that we can place those in the right place. We're not going to be using mesh sockets. We're going to be using just based in blueprints. They're a little bit harder to set up the position, but they are more usable to previous games that you want to build. And yeah, so let's get started here. So the first thing I want to show you here, guys, that I have created something on my socket, and the socket that I'm creating here is basically a sphere. So just give you a little bit of a context, this here is now set up in that BP based building socket, and all we're going to do here is we're going to add a sphere collision here for now, which is really good. And we actually sphere collision, no, sphere. Let's set sphere, which is great, and this is gonna be the root scene actor. We're gonna put this to 0.5, so it's not too big. We're gonna compile and save this as well. And then the next thing that I'm going to do here is I am gonna go to my base pillar here. I already have placed an actor in there, but let's do this from scratch. So we're gonna start to align actors and building parts and things like this. So the easiest and simplest way we can do this is just by controlling our mesh and make sure everything gets on the center and is aligned and all that. So what I'm gonna do here is, the first thing I wanna do here is I'm gonna get my socket and I'm gonna open up my BP base pillar. I'm gonna drag and drop this guy here, and there you go. So we're gonna have the socket placed in the bottom of the actor. Don't worry about it right now, just gonna put as children of the main mesh. Don't worry about this right now, because at the moment those sockets, we're gonna hide them once it goes when we explain the game. So right now what we can do here is we're just gonna try to align this to the middle of the game, to the middle of the actor here. Make sure they're aligned properly, which they are, which is great. And here we're gonna put this socket on the bottom, and we're gonna put another socket here on the top, and then we're gonna be able to align those parts afterwards. So let's fix here the offset of the bottom first. So let's delete this one here, and let's check the part here. There's many ways we can do this. The simplest ways I could find for now is by drag and drop our wall part in there, and let's try to make sure that we find the right offset. So right now we kind of have some 0, 0, 0. So is a bit weird, the offset. So let's play with the based socket in here. So we can do something like that. It's really good. And now, yes, not quite aligned, but we can always play with the values after. And then if you rotate that, it aligns here. As you can see, it's not properly aligned when I'm doing the rotation, because my part here, I built it by hand, so I don't have the specific rotations. So, but if you have a very custom modular part that has been built modularly, it's easy to find the spots in that. Right, so we kind of have a socket in there, which is really good. Actually, I'm gonna copy and paste. I'm gonna delete the wall here, and then I'm gonna get the top. I'm gonna call top socket. Sorry, top socket, and here I'm gonna call the bottom socket, and the bottom socket. And right, so the top one, we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna get here, we're gonna get our, where is it, our wall part, so we can attach that here. And let's try to align this as best as we can. Oh, what happened there? The base wall on the top socket. Get a little bit distorted. Let me just bring this here. Top socket. There you go. This is just so I can see more or less how the preview is gonna look like, right? Yeah, I think that's quite cool. And then we can always adjust this in game. Right, cool. So then after I've done this, so I got my base sockets. I'm not 100% sure if they're gonna align properly, but let's check this in game. So let's press play. So now if I press V and get my pillar, oh, there's a little bit of a bug there, but let's fix that in a second. Let's check now if the wall will align with that. So the way I'm gonna do the logic here, I have done something already, but I'm gonna show what I did here. So now to align your parts, or to make sure that your parts follows that socket, you're gonna go to the player controller, and I'm just gonna delete what I had done here before, and basically what we had here is something like that. It was valid. Make sure it comes from the location, and at this point, if you see here, we just have what we used to have before. Just follow the parts, but it's not really looking to any specific part here, right? It's not attaching, it's not doing anything. So to attach here, what you're gonna do is you're gonna create here a branch, and the branch basically is gonna be we need to check if the class that we hit the actor is of a kind of a slot or actor or something like this. So what we're gonna do here is from the hit actor, we're gonna make sure that the class match the BP base building socket. There's many ways you could do this. You can do by casting, which I don't really recommend because this is running on the event stick. But let's just use the class now. Get class. So we're gonna get the class of the actor we're hitting. We're gonna make sure that this actor class is the socket, right? BP base build socket. So this is gonna come in here. And okay, so now if it's true, we want to do something different. So if it's false, we want to make sure that we follow our game here. But if it's true, I think right now we should have a kind of a feedback. Let's see what's gonna happen here. So if you see, the part has kind of stopped moving around, which is great. It's exactly what we're looking for, right? So it's moving here, but when it gets to this point, it's stopped. Now, what we gotta do here, let me just go back, then we can deal with that bug in a second. What we're gonna do now is that we have to basically do something else when we're trying to place the part. So it's the same thing. So we're gonna get set actor location. The actor that we want to set location is the building part preview. So we're gonna trigger and plug it in there. And now we have to find what is the location that we try to set this, right? Where we try to set this part. So the location that we're trying to attach is this here hit actor. So we're gonna get actor location, and we are gonna plug this here. Compile and save. Now, if you press V, now we're gonna place the pillar there. We need to fix that bug as well. I'm gonna put the wall, and as you can see, it's kind of locked to position, right? So the wall here is locked to the position. So I can kind of build, like, you see what I'm going with this, right? So I can come in there. If I have a pillar, I could place the pillar and do that. But right now, let's fix the bug with the pillar. And the problem with the pillar here is actually the socket. The socket's a little bit buggy at the moment. We need to kind of fix this bug. And the bug is because of this. So if you go to collision, we have blockout dynamic. If you change that to no collision, to custom, and then you untick all this stuff and also the visibility in the camera, make sure you're putting ignore. You're kind of going to fix the bug, but you're going to introduce another bug, which is you're not going to be able to place the parts in the right place, because right now they don't have any collision. Even if you can see that this is the right place, but it's because I'm pointing the right location. It's not snapping anymore. So to make snap, we need something to, like, change that for us. So the way we can do that is really simple. We've done this before, and we can do this one more time. Remember that we had two events in here. One is called part in place mode, and then part in placed mode. And then in here we do set the collision of the response to channel, which is great. So we need to do this dynamically, but every part has different sockets. How do we do this? How do we fix this problem? And this is where we can override functions. This is getting a little bit more of the realm of creating, reusing your parts, like we did here with the children and prefabs. But because we're having a children of this base in building part, all those are children, we have the same methods and they share the same properties. So let's fix this. So to fix that, we're going to create a new function, and we're going to call it handle socket in place mode. I know this is a very long name, but let's just leave at this for now. And what I'm going to do with this function, I'm going to put this function in here. I'm going to trigger this function after all this part of the logic happen. And this needs to be done in the parent, yeah? You only want to do this in the parent. You don't need to worry about the children for now. After you do this, we're gonna close here we can close this for now. And let's open up here the pillar, and let's fix the bug on the pillar. All right. Now, Unreal Engine has this amazing thing, you can override functions. This is a very common programming language thing. What you can do here is now we can find the function that we have created. In that case, if you remember, we have created handle socket in place mode. So we can go back here to the pillar, for example, and if you go back to the event graph here, we can override this function by calling handle socket in place mode, and we are overriding the function. So when the parent call the function, only for these children I want to be able to do a couple of special things. So in this case here I have the socket, right? And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to get the top socket. I am going to get the blueprint. Sorry. Is that get class? No, sorry, I need to get, how's it called this? I need to find shoot actor, get actor. Yep, that's it. And now from the actor, I need to cast to base socket. There we go. And now we can call the function in the actor that will basically be able for us to hit that object again. So let's go now open up here the the socket, yeah? This guy here. Let's open up the socket. So the socket is in here. And let's open up this. And let's create a quick event here. So let's create a custom event. And we're gonna set socket to place mode. Great. Now, what we're going to do here is that we already have this code, so we can copy, remember the code that we have in the building part, this set collision response to channel, whatever. So we're going to copy that, I'm going to go to the sockets, paste it in here. And on my case, I already know the values that I have to change, so collision. So we have to basically change the visibility to block and the camera to block. So in this case, visibility is going to be block. And the other one that I said is the camera. So I'll make sure the camera can hit this as well. Camera, nice. And then we have to tell what we're changing the values for. So in this case, we're changing the sphere. Compile and save here, which is really good. Compile and save, cool. Now we have this set socket to place mode. All we gotta do now on the pillar is that we have to change these to socket to place mode. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna also do it for the button here. We're gonna copy the same logic, and we're gonna place after this. We're gonna place this here. Set socket to place mode. And now we need to call this method. And because if you notice that the building, the base building already called this method by default, that's how we are able to interact with this actor. This should be trigger, which now the base pillar is handling here, which is triggering this on the base building socket that's doing the logic that we're looking for. I know it's a little bit of a domino effect, but it's pretty cool what you can do with this. So let's see if that works now. So we have the pillar, place that, wall, and something went wrong. Let's check why is not triggering properly this behavior. Alright guys, so I just have found the issue related with the socket. It's a very simple one, nothing too complicated. It's just basically on the socket here we have the collision, and I was set before to no collision. So that was happening. So if I press no collision again, press play, got the pillar there, and then try to play stuff and that's not gonna work. So you need to make sure that you set yours to collisions enable. So we're gonna compile and save, and now we should everything should be working the way it was. So let's try to do here the same as well for the wall. Okay, so let's do the same thing for the wall here, which is really cool. So let's get the wall and let's add a couple of sockets in there. So we're gonna add 1 and 2. Now it's gonna open up this, do that here. And let's add here, let's call this socket 01 and then socket 02. Okay, so we're gonna put this here. I'm gonna put this part here as well. Let me check, they need to be aligned ideally. So 0 is that, so we're gonna put 50. We need to make sure, well, let's check here. Let's bring another example here, so we can see how good this thing's gonna get aligned. I'm not sure if I can do that. Yeah, I can't bring the same reference. Let's bring the pillar. Let's put the pillar on the socket number 2. It's getting a little bit messy right now, but let's check if this is gonna work. So this is where is the socket. I am gonna make sure I can see that, just so I can see the pillar here. So we're gonna align the pillar something like that. So let me open up the pillar here so I can proper hide those sockets from here, so I don't, because I can't see exactly what they're trying to do here. Compile and save for a second. Base wall. So there you go. So I can align better the wall, something like that. You guys notice that I'm kind of aligned by hand. Normally, if you have like a part, that would be much more easy if you had the modular parts. But because I'm kind of creating my own parts on the fly, it gets a little bit tricky and does give a little bit more time. If you want to make sure that you align those purposes, you need to untick this thing called snapping. So for example, to give some context, all the values now are snapped. If I want to be precise, I have to untick that and make sure I set those values up. Something like this. So let me, oh sorry, that's the, my bad, I have to control the socket actually. The socket's the one I want to align here. So let's put it something like this. Put it down there so it aligns properly. Yeah. One trick, guys, I want to show you here as well, that when you work with building systems, you see that we have all those imperfections. You can always try it on your parts to actually put some kind of an ornament on those, so that you hide those imperfections, because sometimes it's very tricky to make your part match. But you can kind of do something like that after. Right, so we did that here, which is great. Now we have the socket set up. Now let's set up the other socket here, which is this here. We're gonna attach socket 1. Let's put that here as well. And the socket is very out of place. Wow, that's really bad. Let's set the socket better in a better location here, and let's just try to align the top. And let's put it in here. Okay, cool. Let's Let's put this thing here as well. And nice. Cool. So we got the socket kind of located in the right place. Okay, so let's delete this, compile and save. There's one more thing here that I want to do is, first of all, I want to make sure they are enabled again so I can see the part for the sockets. And the next thing that you want to do is on the base wall, remember that we have to set up the callback so the sockets get triggered and enable and everything start to work properly again. So what you do here is that override, you're going to find a function called handle socket mode whatever, and you can check what we did here in the logic. This is just the context. Yeah, we need to kind of copy that stuff back. So I'm going to copy everything here. I'm going to go to my base wall, I'm going to paste that, and then I am going to connect just my other socket. So socket 1, socket 2, press play, and let's see what's going to happen. So if I press play, we're going to have the pillar, great, the wall, so we can place that here, and then we have another wall coming back down. They are a little bit of an offset, so we can kind of let's go back in that and try to match those here. Hi guys, just resuming here. I was aligning the wall just to show a quick trick here that I found out, which was really cool. For some reason, when I was trying to align the wall, if I try to bring the same the same game object, it won't work because you is basically trying to cast himself. So what I did here is just to create another base wall, just duplicate that. Now I can drag and drop this guy here. I bring in the socket 0, 0, 0, and then I can, for example, rotate here and make sure it's aligned. Remember, for the alignment to be properly, you always need to make sure your socket aligns properly, right? But okay, so now if I press play, let me show what I did here. So the alignment here is actually working much better now. So I can come in there, come in here, which is really great. So you see the alignment, it works really cool. One cool thing here as well that I want to show is how to remove those, how the player are able to don't see this white sockets. Really simple, nothing complicated. So what you do here is that you gonna go to the base building socket here. On the event graph, all you gotta do here is just make sure that when the thing started, set the visibility to false, okay? And to false that, compile and save. Now we're gonna press play, and we're gonna put a pillar here and the wall. And as you can see, the player is not able to see where's the socket. I know where's the socket location. It's very hard for the player to kind of find what is it, but we're gonna do something as well where we can kind of show this as well. So once again, guys, thank you very much for watching. It's getting really exciting, this series. We got really close to finish this thing here, and the next thing that we're gonna be doing here is that we're gonna do some refinements. We're gonna maybe put some change in the material colors. We're gonna start to work with refinements up to a point where we are happy with the system. So thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next one.